West Ham United are furious with Michail Antonio's injury. Not with Michail Antonio himself, they're not angry with the player. They're angry about the situation where Antonio's picked up an injury while playing for Jamaica over the weekend. And there's two things in particular they're upset about. They're upset about the condition of the pitch at Kingston's Independence Park, and they're also angry about the fact that Antonio got injured, played a further 10 minutes with that injury before he was substituted for Jamaica as well. And as a result, they've got a very anxious wait. I wouldn't be surprised if Antonio's having his scans today. I'd imagine he's back in England already having the scans. And we'll find out later in the week just how severe this injury is. But West Ham are furious with the situation. That's according to John Percy over at The Telegraph. Now, Percy's actually one of my favourite journalists when it comes to generic football news. I've got my favourite journalists and sources when it comes to West Ham news, club specific news. They're in their own little pool over here. But when it comes to general football news, Percy's right up there as far as I'm concerned, and it's he that is reporting that West Ham are furious. In the same article, Percy goes on to explain that while West Ham await the outcome of the results, and fingers crossed it's best case scenario, because best case scenario will be 6 weeks. That'll take us up into the end of January maybe. So while Michail Antonio is returning to West Ham's first team action, we lose Mohamed Kudus and possibly Said Benrahma. I say possibly because there's not been a good international break for Benrahma, has it? In fact, there's been a good international break for any of our players. There seems to be injuries and controversy regarding all the players that went away on international duty. But let's discuss Michail Antonio first and foremost. So best case scenario, 6 weeks. Worst case scenario, according to Percy, 9 months. And if that was to be the case, and the fact that West Ham are furious about it, maybe I'm reading too much into it, and this is my assumption off the back of Percy's article. The fact that West Ham are that angry would give an indication maybe they're expecting worst case news. Are they expecting it because of what they know, or are they expecting it just because of Michail Antonio's injury record, perhaps, that they're expecting this to be worst case scenario? But 9 months, well, if that was the case, write off the rest of this season completely. And this is my own opinion only, not Percy's, mine, I would be really worried about seeing Michail Antonio in a West Ham shirt again, truth be told. 34 years old in March. It would take some doing to come back from an injury this serious. So I will go on to speak candidly about Antonio, his contract, the injury, what this means for West Ham, how we replace him, Jarrod Bowen. I'll go on to speak candidly about this topic in greater detail. But I pray that this is not bad news for Antonio, because I don't wish injury on anyone, even on opposition players, nobody. I don't want to see any player get injured. But I certainly don't want to see any player have to retire off the back of an injury, because I would be concerned. And I might be overreacting to this, because it might be worst case scenario and comes back next season, happy days. And I hope that is the case. But I have to say, there's an element of me a little bit concerned that this could be really bad news for Michail Antonio. I certainly hope that that is not the case. Now, before we go any further, I've got a big favour to ask of every single one of you watching and listening right now, and that is to drop a like on the video by clicking the thumbs up button. And if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. Both things are free, take approximately 2 seconds, helps out the video, helps out the channel, makes me feel good as well. Plus, you'll get every single Hammers Chat video into your subscription feed. Now, we're discussing injuries to West Ham players, but what about avoiding injuries to yourself when shaving? Whether it's your facial hair or shaving your bollocks, Manscaped are the best when it comes to male grooming, and there's never been a better time to get your hands on their items, because it's Black Friday event week. Now, most websites, only specific items are included, but not in the Manscaped. Everything is included in their Black Friday event, and you can save 25% on everything and anything. And the best thing is, you don't even need a code, you don't even need a special link. Just go to manscaped.com, or you can use the link in the description if you wish. Pop any products you want into your basket, and they'll automatically take 25% off all your items, plus free shipping worldwide. So if you're looking for something to take care of your facial hair, including the handyman, Gonzo's got his beard trimmer. Yeah, right, look at Gonzo who can grow a beard. Leave it out. Some of us can't do that, so I have to make do with the handyman to get rid of the little bits of facial hair that I can grow. But it's really good. On Saturday, I was in Nottingham, went to a concert at Rock City, went to see the Lottie Winners. Fantastic band, brilliant venue, first time there. Really dark and small and dirty. Absolutely love it. My favourite kind of venue when it comes to live music. But I had a really good time. Anyway, this thing is perfect for on the go. Wake up in the morning, buzz it around your face. Your facial hair is looking good. Happy days. So if you're looking for something to take care of the face, or if you're looking for something to take care of your ball sack, get saving before you go shaving over at manscaped.com with the Black Friday event. Now, back to Michail Antonio and the injury. I'll be very honest with you. When the news came out, I had an emotional reaction, a knee-jerk reaction, which was good. And I don't like saying that. I feel guilty saying it, but I'm being honest with you. Because I thought, well, this forces Moyes' hands. It means Moyes can't play him. I thought this is maybe, every cloud has a silver lining and all that. I thought maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Now, I didn't realise the extent of the injury at the time. I've got people, there's certain people, we all do this. We've all got mates, right? When something happens in the West Ham world, you'll send it to each other, etc., etc. Sometimes that's when I get my West Ham news. I've got friends that'll send me screenshots and stuff. So it was a case of Antonio's picked up an injury with Jamaica. I didn't realise how serious it was. Like I said, I feel guilty now. But at the time, my initial and emotional reaction was, that's not a bad thing. It means that we can't play him against Burnley. It means that Moyes is going to have to come up with something. It means that in the January transfer window, the likelihood of getting a striker has increased. Now, like I said, I do feel guilty. But that's honestly how I felt at the time. And I'll be honest with you, I wasn't that concerned. Now, losing Antonio is a bad thing. This is my emotionless, cold, logical outlook on it. Because he's not started the last couple of games. But both games, Olympiacos and Nottingham Forest, he was on the bench and I wanted to see him come on. So having him in the squad is better than not having him in the squad. And my feeling isn't necessarily a reflection of Michail Antonio. It's more of a reflection of my lack of trust in David Moyes, perhaps, or my lack of desire to see Antonio start games and come on off the bench. But I don't know if I trust Moyes to do that to some extent. Hopefully, probably not really, but hopefully this is making some sort of sense. Now, obviously at this point, Bowen wasn't injured, right? So this is, for context, Bowen wasn't injured. So I thought maybe this is where Mubama will get his chance. But very quickly I decided probably not. So I'd rather have Antonio available, because regardless of whether Antonio's available or not, Mubama's chances of playing probably don't increase that much. Then we got the news about Jarrod Bowen, that he's been sent back, he's not travelling with England, and Gareth Southgate gave an update. Now, I might be naive about this, but I'm feeling quite confident Bowen is going to be okay for Saturday against Burnley. Going by what Southgate said, it sounded like it was a bit of a minor injury, and Southgate said it doesn't look like it'll be serious. Also, in football, I don't believe in coincidences that much. So when the Antonio news comes out, and very, very quickly, our second choice striker, or first choice striker, however you want to look at it, Antonio Bowen. We know who was going to start up front. It doesn't really matter. But I tell you what, if Antonio's unavailable, we can all bet our bottom dollar that Bowen was going to be the striker at Turf Moor on Saturday. So the fact that Antonio gets injured very quickly and Bowen's suddenly out the England squad, there is a little bit of me thinking that this is a precaution and it's because of Antonio's injury that we've maybe pulled Bowen out or whatever. Maybe Bowen is injured and he's going to miss Saturday. I would be surprised. Going by what Southgate said, it sounds like it's just a precaution, and I hope that that's the case, because, well, I'd be very worried if we didn't have Antonio or Bowen for Saturday afternoon. So while part of me was a little bit relaxed about the Antonio injury because we still had Jarrod Bowen, I thought, well, I think Bowen will work up front against Burnley. Will he work up front in every game? No. Do I want to see him up front in every game? No. Truth be told, I hadn't really thought about who I'd like to see start against Burnley on Saturday. But Bowen would have been in the team, whether it be up front or on the right-hand side. And if it was on the right, I'd probably want to see Kudus up front. Maybe in the number 10 role and Antonio starting. Unlikely, truth be told. So I probably wouldn't have wanted to see Antonio start on Saturday. But like I said, I hadn't really given it much thought because it was still a week away at this point. But the Bowen thing is bad news. But perhaps a bit naively, I'm feeling quite relaxed about it at this point. I don't think it'll be anything serious. One player has a horrific one. He's been pretty good recently, Antonio. His injuries haven't been bad. But Bowen's never been injured. I think he's missed about 2 games in like 150 games or something like that for West Ham. It's something stupid. He just doesn't get injured. So I think I'm feeling all right about the Jarrod Bowen thing, and I'm very optimistic and quite confident that he'll be starting on Saturday against Burnley. Now, when we put the injuries together, this news together, and it becomes a bit of a crisis, doesn't it? I mean, it was quite funny, actually. Coming into the international break, there was this table going around. You've probably seen it on social media. Injuries at the minute, even injuries this season. I think West Ham have had 5 injuries for the whole season so far. I mean, that's pretty good, isn't it? We're top of that league. Top of the injury league. You'll never sing that and all that. But coming into this international break, it was injuries at present. We had 0, none. And then about a couple of hours later, it was like, oh, Garrett's pulled out the Morocco squad. He's injured. I was like, oh, there you go. There's our first one. But I think they'd probably have to miss a game before that figure jumps from 0 to 1. So he's probably still on 0 at the minute. But obviously, it'll start racking up because of Antonio. But we've gone from 0 to... Gareth is out the Morocco squad. Antonio's injured. Bowen's injured. Souček's got a massive gaping gash on his head. Soufal's been banished from the squad while he's not injured. But my point is, we're coming into this, the squad was in good condition. We've not even played a game, and suddenly it's half the first team are injured or causing controversy somewhere. But when we put the whole situation together, that's when Antonio got injured, I thought, well, here's an opportunity for Mubama. It has to be Mubama. Does he have to start? No, but there has to be an opportunity there. He's got to have moved up the pecking order now. But the worst thing is, and this is the worst thing about it other than Antonio actually being injured, the second worst thing about it, I don't think he does. I've got no hope that he does. Now, this could be a really easy win for David Moyes. Thinking Moyes starts, if Bowen was out and he starts Mubama, or Mubama's now the second choice striker, Bowen starts up front, Mubama's on the bench and can come on. And that might just... in the next couple of months, that might just be enough to persuade Mubama to sign a new contract with us. Because we've got that standoff situation at the minute. And this is where the contract situation gets really ugly in regards to giving Mubama minutes. Because we've been here before where, I call it the chicken and the egg scenario, because it's very similar. Mubama, we believe, perhaps won't sign a contract because he's not getting minutes. But Moyes perhaps is reluctant to give Mubama minutes because he won't sign a contract. So what happens? Does Moyes give him more minutes and hope that changes his mind? But what happens if it doesn't? What happens if Moyes invests a lot of time in Mubama for the rest of the season, turns him into a Premier League striker, and he goes for a free? He's going to look a bit silly, isn't he? But then likewise, what happens if Moyes gives him no minutes? He's definitely going to go then, isn't he? So it's a very difficult situation between player, club and manager at the minute. But this feels like an opportunity for us to promote Mubama and give him minutes, and then hopefully we'll see his contract situation get resolved. That conversation, there's a lot of talk that Steiden's going to get involved in the Mubama contract situation. Well, his talk's just got a bit easier, hasn't it? He's had to maybe try and convince Mubama he's got a future here and he's got Ings and Antonio and Bowen ahead of him and that's it, but he can overtake them. Well, Antonio's out of the equation now. You're worst third choice striker, possibly second. If you're confident enough, you can, to beat Danny Ings. So I think Steiden's job maybe just got a little bit easier when it comes to contract negotiations. But I just don't have faith that we'll see Mubama. I don't. I think when I seen the news about Antonio, I thought, that's okay. Bowen will start up front, Kudus on the right, Paquette on the left, Souček, Ward-Prowse. It'll be the same team start against Nottingham Forest. And I'm quite confident it will. In fact, I already say I'll bet anyone that that's the starting 11. I'm not, because I've done this before. I made bets with people in the comment section. Someone last season was adamant we're getting relegated and basically said, oh, I bet you we get relegated. So I took the bet and we stayed up and he's not paid me. He pretends he never made the bet now, but I know he did. I just can't be arsed looking for it. I didn't. Anyway, I just had to take it on the chin. So I'm not making bets anymore with people in the comment section. But I was going to say, I bet you that is our midfield and attack on Saturday. I'm feeling confident Bowen will be alright. But my big worry is that should, hypothetically, Bowen not be okay, I think we all know what it would be. There's three. Well, there's four possibilities. Mubama up front. Let's rule that one out. Paquette up front. Now, we've seen this. For the last 10 minutes of games, we've seen Paquette go as the false nine. Let's just call it that. And I mentioned it in a video about a month ago. Me and Gonzo did a video about Lucas Paqueta, or Lucas Paqueta, depending on which one was speaking. And someone commented, and I've never seen this poster before. He might have been around before. I hadn't seen him before. And he made a comment. It was all about Paqueta and the fact that he was Brazilian. So I think it was a Brazilian fan that was watching the video. And he commented that when he played in Brazil, he was played as a false nine quite quite often. I don't know how often. He went into specifics about it and said that he's actually got quite a bit of experience there, because we touched upon it in the video that Moyes kept moving Paqueta central for the last 10-15 minutes of games, and he was saying, actually, he's really experienced there. Don't write him off. So that's an option. I don't want to see it, and I don't think we'll see it from the start. So we'll rule that out. That leaves 2. Maxwell Cornet, he's not going to do that. Let's get rid of that one. That leaves 1. Danny Ings. And, I mean, does anyone want to see that except Danny Ings? I'm not too sure. If we were going to go that option, which is Danny Ings, play Mubama with him. Put him up front with Mubama, not Bowen. If Bowen's there, put Bowen on the right if he's available. But if you're going to play Ings, please play 2 strikers, and Bowen cannot be one of them. Play Mubama next to him, and give Danny Ings the best chance of succeeding, because it's not worked and it's not working. What's he on now? 20? Is it 21 games now without a goal? Danny Ings, something like that. It's the longest he's gone in his career without a goal anyway. It's no surprise, really. And this is why, like I said, I'm reluctant to... And I've always been a Danny Ings fan, like, understandably so. And people say you've wanted him for years. Incorrect. I wanted him years ago. Big difference. But I was pleased when we signed him in January. I was pleased. We're in a relegation battle. We signed a proven Premier League goal scorer. What I naively assumed was we were going to play him with a strike partner, which he has done. And when you look at how Ings has performed throughout his career, it's with the strike partner. When he's played on his own, i.e. Aston Villa, he struggled a little bit, hence why Aston Villa sold him. Emery doesn't want to play 2 strikers, so get rid of the guy that needs to play in a front 2. Makes sense, doesn't it? So we buy him and play him in a front 1. I don't know. But we are going to, if Ings is the answer... And I'm a bit worried. I don't think he will be. I think Bowen will be. But if it was going to be Ings up front for the foreseeable future, then we have to build it to get the best out of him. And that is a strike partner, not Bowen. We've seen it. I can't remember what game it was when Bowen started up front with Ings, and it didn't work. And then he took Antonio on for Danny Ings, and it should have been Antonio with Danny Ings that the sub was, but he switched it round. So if you are going to play Ings up front, please put Mubama next to him, so he's got a striker next to him, not Bowen, not Cornet, an actual striker in Mubama, someone to play off. And to be clear, I don't want Ings as striker against Burnley. I hope it's not that. I'm just pretending I'm David Moyes. What is David Moyes most likely to do in the event, in the absence of Michail Antonio and Jarrod Bowen, is probably play Danny Ings up front. I'd be surprised if he didn't. So if he's going to do that, please, for the love of God, can we play a formation in a system that would allow Danny Ings to start scoring goals for us? Because 21 games that a goal, like I said before, I just struggle to blame a guy that scored goals all his career. He comes to West Ham and stops scoring goals. I struggle to blame the guy, right? I blame the way we're playing. So yeah, possibly an ugly situation for David Moyes in West Ham, possibly a crisis at the minute. Maybe I'm being a bit naive. I think Agard will be okay. I think Souček will be okay, and I think Bowen will be okay. I think it's just Michail Antonio we're going to be missing. But how long for? That's what we're going to have to wait and see, because Percy says best case 6 weeks, which is still a long bloody time, by the way. It's still, like I said, middle of January probably at the best until he's back. We've got a hectic December coming up. We can't do anything. But, well, we can. Get Mubama involved. Like a new signing. I don't like it when you say things like that, but actually he would be. Get Mubama involved. It's an easy win for David Moyes. If Moyes put him in, put it this way, if David Moyes played Mubama plenty, and it didn't work out, he could say, well, hang on a minute, I gave the kid a chance. I'd like to think most West Ham fans would turn around and say, fair enough, you put Mubama in, it's not work. We understand it, we get it. It's fine, it's not a problem. If Moyes put him in and he did well and refused to sign a contract and left, I say most, I don't know. I think it would split it. I think a lot would say, well, what more could Moyes have done? He got his chance, he still didn't sign it. I think there would be an element of he left it too late. He only played him because Antonio was injured. Mubama would know this. But I'm sorry, but he just turned 19, not 18, Moyes, just turned 19-year-old. That's what you do. You wait. You wait for your chance. And your chance will be out of form, injuries, suspension, lesser games like European games or the Carabao Cup earlier on, you wait for those chances and then you get it. So this is what Mubama's been waiting for. This injury, he's been waiting for this. This is now when you give him a chance. Because if you still don't give him a chance, that small chance of him signing a new deal, forget it. He'll definitely be off. And who can blame? I don't blame him as it is for signing a new contract. But I think even those that did blame him or do blame him for not signing a new deal, I think even they would have a difficult time arguing why Mubama should sign a contract if he still doesn't get game time while Michail Antonio is out for the next couple of months. So fingers crossed it's not a bad one, and I just really hope it's not, the 9 months, because that, for me, I would worry that we're not going to see Antonio play football again in a West Ham United shirt. But anyway, there you go. That's the latest on the West Ham news, West Ham injuries if you like, and that is that West Ham are furious. I'm going to shop and disappear. Please do drop a like on the video. You should have done it earlier in the video, but you haven't. Please do it now by clicking thumbs up. Subscribe to Ham's Chat. Catch you tomorrow.